welcome back. I'm Saf.
And I'm Tang. And welcome to Gaming Dads.
All right, so like we promised, question. This one is for you. You have a superpower. Right. The superpower is you can read women's minds.
What?
Right? Like you can read their thoughts. When they're thinking it, it's like they're speaking clearly to you. All right? Would you use that for your own personal benefit? Or would you use it for the greater good to like help people out, understand women better? I know I need the help. Would you help me out, brother? Or would you use it for your own personal gain?
So, the question is, I've got a superpower and it's reading women's minds. Okay, so, and then your choices are selfishly use it or help mankind. I'm going to have to go with a twofer. I think I'm going to have my cake and I'm going to eat it too. I'm thinking I'd do a little selfishness, do a little learning, and pass it on. Make some books, some YouTube vids. I'd gladly help you, obviously, for free, you know.
Thank you. Because my wife sends me for a loop sometimes. God bless her. I love that woman to death. Let's not go there. But anyway, World of Warcraft. I am ready for the Shadow of Lands, okay? I got my beautiful mage right here. I'm thinking about taking her in there, see what it's all about. I've never mained a mage. I've mained many other tunes. Quarter 4, ambitious thoughts.
Quarter 4, I hate to say it, probably realistic from a Blizzard big corporate standpoint, but from everyone in the WoW community hated battle for Azeroth. I think quarter 4 is definitely not going to be the greatest. We're still in alpha. We're still having a lot of problems. And if they're going to release quarter 4, you say between probably Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's probably the general consensus, yeah?
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, probably be another mediocre expansion. It definitely wouldn't be the savior everyone's looking for.
I mean, because we're just in alpha. There's still 2 covens they haven't even released to the alpha yet. We're still looking at a full, 6 to 7 months for a solid beta. So, I mean, you're talking...
The average alpha is 3 months, and the average beta is 6 months. That's the average, okay? I don't believe Battle for Azeroth got either of those. But so far, we've had about a month and a half of alpha. And they've kind of responded to a lot of people's requests, but they're doing a lot like they did with Battle for Azeroth also. So
I love these visions, and I'm guessing that's kind of what Torghast is kind of like. People are making some similarities to it. Obviously, it's a grander scale, but I think visions are great. I actually don't have any problems with BFA. I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good expansion. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, it's the best expansion ever. I mean, I'm pretty much a Wrath fan, but I'm kind of a BC baby, so I played in some vanilla, like we talked about earlier, but we know, like, my experience was very little. You know what I mean? I wasn't at your level, and then you reeled me in. But, to each their own, you know? To each their own.
Well, some of the exciting things that I'm excited for are the storyline with Torghast, as you mentioned. It looks like the Jailer, the main baddie of the expansion, and the Coven, what's the Vampiric Coven? They all seem to be Nazarene. And keep in mind, the Nazarene race, they created the Blade of the Lich King. They created the helm that Sylvanas just ripped in half in the latest cinematic.
Just ridiculous. Would never happen. But anyway, so let's get to the meat and vegetables of what we're really going to cover in this Starborne. Let's get to the meat and gritty of it.
All right, so to start with, I've got here, this is the Starborne screen. I'll put the website in the description where you can download it if you haven't started one yet. You come here, pick a server. I recommend picking the newest server. Ideally, I'd say wait for a server launch if you've got that kind of time. Would you?
Server 11 this weekend. They just announced it.
Yeah, so I would...
Saturday, what is it, the I believe the 16th.
Yeah.
And they
So
usually come out every 2 weeks or so. They drop a new beta.
they seem to be slowing down. It seemed like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were going a little faster, but I'd say every week or two for sure. You definitely don't want to start on one too late. And if you
No.
have friends, see, I'll click join game on beta 10. And of course, it's saying under maintenance. Let's see if I can join my current game at least. I was hoping to show you a starting game, but it looks like beta 10 is in use. So we'll go ahead.
Use beta 9.
Use beta 9. All right.
So you go to beta 9. You'll pick a area you want to go with. If you have a bunch of buddies, me and you tried it our first server. What was it, beta 4? And
Beta
we just
4.
clicked one at the same time. If you do it at the exact same time, it seems like you kind of get around each other. From what we've tried, what we've noticed, if you're an hour apart, you could be across the map in the same zone, but across the map.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You can be pretty far. Um, but at the same time, in the first zone, it's kind of a safe zone. It's not that big a deal. So even if you start a couple days apart or whatever and you get a friend into it, no biggie. Just make sure you go together into the second zone. You definitely want to have backup in the
Yes,
second
for
zone.
sure. In this game, there's not just one way to win, though. There's 3 ways to win. There's a Dyson sphere control, which is like special points on the map.
Which is what
They're
we're
usually
working
below
on.
either in every. What's that?
That's what we're working on in our current
That's
game.
what we're working on. Yes. Then there is a strategic advantage win where you claim certain like resource. They're not planets, but they're more like little features around the map. If you scroll all the way out, you see them. They're marked with little triangles. And then the last one is a claim radius. So your alliance holds the most hexes in basically of all the alliances. So the one that we're going for is the Dyson win. Will we win? I don't know. We're still pretty new, but we're still learning, just like everybody else
Yep.
is. It's beta, so I feel
All
like we got
right.
a good grasp on it, and that's why we're trying to share. So you want to go ahead and hit up some of the first kind of terms that people are going to need to know?
Yeah, I'm finally getting into server 9 now. It's loaded in. So, and one thing you want to do is make sure you guys go to the same territory. So, and so for vocab, the first thing you need to know are your resources. So here you can see I've got a brand new base. So the first thing you're going to notice are your resources down here. You see Z Tanger HQ. That's your main base. You got metal, gas, crystal, and these are used to purchase things.
And you got labor. Don't forget about labor. Labor
And
is
labor.
not so much for buildings. Labor is more kind of controls your ship amounts you can have, and you can finagle that in other ways, which we'll get into later on. That's later in the tiers, though.
And then what everything is based off of, like you're ranked on the server. So I'll show you here. You go to empires. This kind of shows you where people are at on the server. If you notice, there's influence. So influence is gained by building buildings, organizations, as you can see here. This will be a metal refinery, a gas refinery, crystal, and then what he said for labor over there, pop, that's labor. And those are kind of your production buildings.
Yep. All right. So myself, I usually get my productions up to level 5. That way you're kind of getting a steady flow. And then I will move into my tier 1. And there's multiple builds you can do. We'll do those in later videos. But just to give you an idea, you could always look what's in these tiers, even if you have them all filled. If you go over to the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see it says tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. If you click on that tier 1 tab, it'll actually pull up all buildings inside of that. And that'll let you kind of see what you want to go with. Your military buildings are in green, all right? And they will be more heavily needed metal for your resource. It takes all 3, but it's just you need more metal than anything else. Your domain buildings are blue, and you'll need more gas for those buildings. And then your industrials are pink or purple, whatever you want to call it, and those need more crystal than anything else. I want to add your influence is very important early on, and you, like he said before, your initial base can't be it can be destroyed, but people are going to be taking a crazy long journey to destroy your initial base. You'd really have to have someone hate you. I mean, I've played on 4 or 5 different servers now, and I've never had anybody hate me. And I've talked some trash to some people and gotten my other bases kind of messed up, but never have they gone back and destroyed my initial base.
Yeah,
So
the first area is, as you can see here, like I'm zooming out. I'm right in here on an edge. Like all these little dots are bases. These little fires, that means someone is actually getting their base destroyed. That's a bombing. Those are definitely in-game tier 2 stuff. Um, and then what he was saying, there's military, domain industrial. There's also a heavy ship assembly. I can show you that later on our main. And then there's some buildings like the governor's mansion. That's a tier 4 building. And what that does is say your territories are butting together. I'm going to go ahead and log over to my other server. Your territories are butting together and you want to fight because they can actually overlap and you lose resources. So then you use that, and what's called a fortress also helps to kind of push and capture the territories.
So when you're in, while he's logging over, I'll go over a few things. So while you're in your starting zone, you don't have any ships, you don't have any buildings. You start building, right? I'm going to give you a wise tip. Influence is amazing and it's great, but it's just buildings. If you don't have ships to defend that influence or to increase your power, you know what I mean? Like your influence is, yes, relevant to your level, but it doesn't mean anything because your ships don't take part of your influence. So you could be very low influence and have a heap of ships and destroy somebody with a huge amount of influence with no ships. So keep that in mind. So I would say always have ships in queue, even if it's 10, if it's 5, if you can only afford 1, like just have something building at all times.
Yeah.
If you're looking at my screen, which I'm not sure if we will or not, but if not, Tang can show you later. There's little marauders out here. All right, the level 1 marauders, you can actually attack those and get resources from them. Okay, the level 2 marauders are more for your ships getting experience, and your fleets can level up, which is what you're going to be putting your ships into is a fleet. You just make those down here where it says create new fleet. You click it, you pick what ship you're going to be putting in it, then you can name it and whatever else, you add ships to it, and you can attack a marauder base and you can get resources from them, experience from them, and just kind of like to figure out the game itself. You want to go over a couple of the other features in the game, sir? Were you able to get
Yes,
in?
sir. Yeah, I finally got in. So what you're seeing here, this is my very first base on this server, okay? And as you can see, it's tier 4. I've got all kind of buildings. I'm researching, 24 hours to go. That's my tier 4 organization. This is kind of what I'd say an industrial farming build. This is the build I chose to go. But what he was saying is basically, so you see, I don't have a lot of ships in my main base. I've only got 53, attack ships and 26, what we consider defense ships. I like to call them marauders. That's not what they're called. They're corvettes and patrol ships. So, but like this marauder camp right here, I'm just gonna right click it. I got no ships. Hit those up. I'm gonna tag along my industrials, what I like to call 18-wheelers, and I'm just gonna send them in. They're gonna go in. They're gonna smack all his defenses down. Take whatever resources they got, bring them home, and add them right to your resource pool. But so some other things I just want to hit on real quick. At the top here, you got your menu buttons, okay? So you've got the store. This is where you see like Founders Pack, $100, booster packs, and then the starter pack. I definitely recommend the starter pack. The rest of it, it's not pay to win. I mean, you can speed up buildings and you can make exchanging resources easier. And I think you can even speed up policies.
Yes.
And policies are these right here. As you can see, I'm running a custom Um, what is it? Custom policy, the Mars Prosper League.
Mm.
And I like that. I'm kind of doing more farm, but that's the policy button, and then here's your messages. This is where you get your reports. Kind of see some attacks and defending, marauder camps, players, just going in, messing them up. Here's a logistics screen. It's a lot to take in. It's confusing, but on this screen it covers like your fleets and your cards and home stations, and it's a lot. And then here's the stations, freighters, and here's your exchange screen. And then there's your movements. As you can see, it breaks it down. And then I think I showed this earlier, but here's your politics screen. So like for empires right now, here you can see I'm 35th on the server, 3,040 influence. But then you go to like my alliance and you see I'm only 4th in the alliance. Our top place player is almost 1,000 more influence than me. And then this is the task screen. Just kind of, you'll be spending a lot of time here collecting resources, challenges, etc. You want to finish up the menu, buddy?
In the very beginning, where'd you guys go to the tasks?
Yeah.
All right. So then you have your inventory, which is your cards. Everything from your builder cards, command cards, all the other stuff. And you have just your normal cards, which are increases to your station, increases to your ships, increases to everything you possibly think of. You use the little menu on the right, kind of show you exactly where they go if you're having any questions. Your caches is what you get from missions and from completing quests. And they give you more cards. The goal is just to get as many cards as you want as you can, and then you just destroy them or what they call them recycle or whatever, breakdown cards. So they call it the breakdown. And you basically get a currency from it, which is not a bought currency. You can buy it, but it's not a pay to win. It's definitely a play to win. The more you play, I feel like the more you get ahead. Those people who log in just here and there, and I mean, they can pay to catch up to you. If you're playing more than the other person, you're going to get more out of it, if that makes any sense. And then your last one is the basically your currency. It's where you can get premium. The starter pack is really, it's pretty good, man. I mean, you get some starting out platinum. It's $5. I mean, if you think about it, it's a pack of smokes or a monster drink or whatever else. I mean, if you want to think about it like that. I'm not encouraging you to buy. I have usually bought the starter pack, though. It's $5. You get some cool cards. They help you out later on. Extra card currency and some regular game currency that will help you out. So totally up to you. You don't need to buy it. It's just something simple. You get a little cool little supporter badge, stuff like that, just to help showing that you appreciate the game, you like the game. I definitely wouldn't buy it right off the bat. I would see if you like it and see if it's up your alley before I would even do anything like that. But this is where you buy it. And then the other ones, you get some booster packs. The most expensive one is $30 on that. And then you could do the Founders Pack, which is a crazy $100. I have not bought that, and I will not buy that. I have, however, bought the $10 pack. So,
and unfortunately, I might have, bought the $20 and $30 pack also. But
I mean, you came in a little bit of money. So, but anyway, at no point should I say you should spend money until you've tried it out. You've given it, a good go. I would say your first dabble in a couple beta servers and really see. I mean, it's going to take you maybe, 1, 2, to really understand the initial go. So I would say play it, and then when the next beta comes out, jump on that one. Just kind of jump ship on this one. Jump on the next one. Unless you find like a really good alliance, you really have learned a lot. Like there's a lot of alliances that'll teach you stuff, and they're really good at helping new players. Almost every server. It's called Starfleet Academy. Look for it on your server. They let people in for 15 days and they boot them out. And during that 15 days, they give them everything that they can basically want to know. Any questions you have, they help fill you in. But we're going to do that here on this channel, so you don't really have to join that. Stick with us. We'll get you.
Yeah, you're trying to get rid of our viewers, man. Come on.
Nah, man. I'm just saying, there's more resources out there. I want everybody to enjoy the game like we enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like it was a pretty rough go for us. You know what I mean? Like we're still learning a lot, like a whole lot. Like even late game, like that's where we're learning now. So and we're not even late. So other than that, I mean, the policies, messages, always have policies, upgrading, always have buildings going, have some ships in queue so you're not out here naked and just look like a big Billy badass, but you really are.
More like you're gonna look like you're a pot of gold for somebody. That's how I see people most of the time.
That's true, man. With the resources, there's the brokers. I forgot about mentioning those. Did you mention them?
A little bit. I showed them. Yeah, I went over the exchanges.
If you get a huge amount of resources like these, there's suns, and you can harvest from the suns certain resources, and you'll get like a whole lot of one resource. You can use those brokers to basically break it down into other resources, and you do every day. If you see if Tango scroll over his, I'll scroll over mine, and your little money tab, there's like a number 2. If yours doesn't, open it up, you go to cards. Every day you get 10 free 5-minute builder cards, and you get 3 free exchanges for 1,000 resources. So that's just something they give you every single day. I mean, that's kind of nice. They give you nothing. They're hooking you up. They're giving you a little something. I mean, on my main base, I think I've saved up. I have probably 50,000 resources I could do just with 1,000, switches. I mean, you got to click the card every time. You got to drag it around, but it really helps out later on, or even early on when you're running out of metal because you're building too many military bases, or you too much crystal because you're awesome. You got all this gas because you ain't building no blue buildings, no domains. You're running out on industrials and military buildings. So the factions, stick with the factions they give you to start out. Really figure out the game. You don't need those extra factions right off the bat. But
yeah, you definitely don't. And it's definitely more of a, do you like the game enough? Because that's one of the few things that extends beyond the one game. Because remember, in 2 months, this is over. That's it. So
exactly. Don't be vesting. I mean, if you're that kind of person, you got it like that, by all means, go ham, bro. I don't have it like that. So I got wife, kids, and stuff to feed. My wife will give me my little allowance, and I can get a little bit here and there, but that's about it. So if you got it, though, and you don't have to answer nobody, or you make that money, by all means, do what you want to do. But I would definitely say play a beta or 2 before you spend a heap of money. $5, that's understandable, but I mean, it's your money. You make it. Do whatever you want with it.
All right. Well, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for us today, man.
Yeah. Gaming Dads
out.